was well said, and I congratulate the member on her contribution. I can only go on my own experience, Deputy Speaker, as an employer of women over a long period of time. Most of my staff in my businesses were women. And we had to be as flexible as possible within our community, with the experience of my own family, of the flexibility needed for them to contribute to our business as well. So that was transferred immediately to the employees. So if they had a desire to work from, they wanted to get their kids to school, but they also wanted to be home when they arrived home from school. So their hours were reflective within the business of that operation. And we were I don't think we were early on in that. I think I wasn't the only business to, approach the work that way. But we didn't have the facilities of childcare and family daycare and those sorts of things in those days. And I'm talking 40 years ago. So for 40 years we've been grappling with these issues of how we make inequality. Of course, it's important to address gender inequality. And I actually believe that the Labor government is putting a whole lot of work into that area to make a difference long term. And what governments have done in the past when addressing these issues, they've tried to make a difference long term. But there are some entrenched and long-standing cultural barriers. I'd also go to say that this issue is far more complicated than some of the presentations that have been made around the issue, that it's a simple, easy job to make this change. These include, the problems include discrimination related to pregnancy, parental leave, especially mothers returning to workforce after parental leave. I've even heard claims of women being more fearful of returning to work as a so-called part-time mum than they were the birth. And some of the distressing stories I've heard from these women back that up. The OECD has acknowledged that a lack of support for motherhood is hurting women's career projects. And so my inspiration has always been around the whole family, not just the mum. How do we support the whole family so that the mother involved in that situation is able to contribute in the way that she wants to contribute, not the way that we want to tell her how she could contribute. In other words, I'm not demanding people have to go back to work to have some substance within community. If you choose, like one of our former speakers chose to look after her twin sons, to leave a legal practice and go and just work on bringing up her two boys, who are now 16 years of age, and she thinks it's all over about 16. No, I can just tell her it's only just beginning. My twins are now 46 years, 44 years of age, so around there somewhere. I should be better at this. There's, I'm not saying there's still issues. They're wonderful boys, but kids, they never leave you. They're there for life. And so I want to acknowledge that families play a major role in the contribution their mum can make to community. And my point is that they can make that contribution however they like. And if we can find ways that there be more flexibility for women in the workplace, well, that's a role that government can take to make it easier for people to contribute, for women to contribute, and having regard for their special circumstances, find new innovative ways to make sure that they have the opportunity not only contribute, but contribute on equal levels to anybody else. On top of that, we have a cohort, as you know, Deputy Speaker, of a growing cohort of homeless women over the age of 55. In fact, I could now say over the age of 50. So therefore, as a community, as a very wealthy community, with ample opportunity to make a difference, we need to look at that cohort of women and say, in this term, and before these members of parliament finish their term, that there won't be that gender inequality. There won't be people who are missing out and unable to look after themselves in their later years. Not the 55's later years, but I'm just saying that here's the contribution that we could be making very solidly and very forcefully, and having regard to that. And I do congratulate the diversity of the parliament that's changed so dramatically since I was first a member in 1990.